collecting. Stamp collecting is also known as philately. I started the hobby at the age of 8 years old and continued the hobby for more than 70 years. Philately is the collecting of stamps and other postal matter as a hobby or an investment. The study of postage stamps, stamped envelopes, postmarks, postal cards, covers, and similar material relating to postal history. It includes the stamps themselves, covers, the album, catalog, the philatelic news, stamp tongs, perforation gauge, color chart, eye loop or magnifying glass, mounting supplies, and stock book. I consolidated my stamp collection into these 4 boxes, these 4 albums, and these 4 cover albums. Quite an accomplishment when you think about it. This is the inside of an album. These are mounted stamps. They are known as mint stamps. They're stamps that have never been used for postage. And this happens to be what's known as a transportation series, probably about 1990. These are glassine envelopes with various types of stamps in them. I believe this one is a stamp. In fact, this green dot tells me this is a mint stamp, never been used. These are mint stamps, never been used. They probably were bought at the post office for face value. So this is bought for 3 cents, this is bought for 3 cents, this is bought for 3 cents. When you take a stamp, one of the things you want to do is you catalog it. You take a stamp. So a catalog looks something like this. This happens to be a Canadian catalog. A30 is the design. This A30 is similar to that design right there. If it's in black, it's a ½ cent. So A30 is known as a Scott number 50 here, based on design A30 and a ½ cent black denomination. It's worth $110 new, $110 used. It's never been hinged. That means if it's never been mounted with a hinge, it's kind of a glue type thing, it might be worth $2.75. If you take that same design, and put in a 1 cent instead of a ½ cent, you would use orange ink to produce that stamp. You see the more common variety of that stamp, valued at $30 mint and $8 used. Here's a more modern day version. Here's a stamp, one of my favorite stamps, Canadian stamps actually. It's called Great Lakes Maple Leaf and Eel Emblems. It's a red and blue stamp. It has the potential of having a center inverted. A common variety, Scott 387, Scott number 387 for Canada, based on design A181, 5 cent red and blue. Sometimes this stamp is printed inverted, the center inverted. It'd be worth a value of 9,000 or 7,000 used. The most common variety is worth 35 cents new, 25 cents used. Then you would mount this stamp in an album using spot 387 Canada. These are mounts. Mounts drive you crazy. There's a different size mount for every stamp. I've decided never to mount a stamp again. A color chart. Oh, I love this because There's some colors that are defined in the Scott catalog that what exactly is ultramarine? And over here we have a perforation gauge, tells you how many perforations or holes per inch, usually 10.5 inches, one of the more common. 10.5 holes per inch is one of the more common. And here we have a lighted magnifying glass, watermark, stamp tongs up here. Tool of the trade. These are covers. These happen to be a first flight cover here. These happen to be commemorative covers of when the Queen visited Canada, I believe. I had 4 albums here, 4 covers. I've removed all the covers from the albums, and now I've placed all the covers themselves in a single box. I landed up with 1 U.S. album mounted both used and mint from 1847 to 1987. Another U.S. album, I call number 2, U.S. mounted both used and mint 1988 to year 2000. A Mexico album, album 1, mounted both used and mint 1858 to 1990. And Mexico album number 2 is mounted both used and mint 1990 to year 2000. I landed up with 1 photo box of first day covers, first flight covers, and covers of interest and various stamp collecting tools, and 1 photo box of U.S., Mexico, and UN stamps, off paper, mint or used, all in glass-linked envelopes, sorted by mint, used, U.S., Mexico, and UN. I think that's 6 types of envelopes, actually. If you want to get started in stamp collecting, my suggestion would be start taking Mystic Stamp Company news. It's a free distribution. Every morning I get a commemoration thing. It's like this day in history. Union wins Battle of Shiloh. This was on April 7th, 1862. Ulysses S. Grant won the Battle of Shiloh in Tennessee. Here's a stamp that commemorated that event. That's the way I'd get started in stamps. Not collecting stamps per se, but reading about stamps. Now, my intention here was to get rich. I can't put a value on my stamp collection. I don't know if it's worth $5 or $50,000. But what I can tell you is I gained great knowledge about the United States history and its geography, knowledge about the preservation of things, how you keep things preserved for 70 years, knowledge about the details of an item, its color, a watermark versus non-watermark, perforations, and condition, knowledge of the variation as a result of design, production, and care of a stamp, and the philatelic travel to historical sites, events, and museums that have occurred as a result of my hobby. What I'm doing here is announcing podcasts. I've decided I'm going to put together 6 podcasts. First one is going to be about terms of stamp collecting. Second is going to be about cataloging. Third one's going to be about albums and mounting. Fourth one's going to be about covers, first day covers, first flight covers, and the Butterfield Stage Trail commemoration. Part 5 will be about stamping collecting versus philatelist, a person who studies actually postal history. And part 6 will be starting a stamp collection. The first of these, part 4, I've already put out there. This is a project list for Toastmasters. Create a podcast. Write and record a minimum of 60 minutes of content. Schedule a speech with the Vice President of Education. Select a 5 to 10 minute segment from one of your episodes to share with your club. Prepare a verbal introduction to the segment you intend to share. Rehearse your introduction. After you've completed all components of the assignment, log in to complete the second portion of your self-assessment on Assess Your Skills After screen. Thank you, fellow Toastmasters. Now you will see on the chart, Part 4, Covers.